NSCN-IM and its challenges with other communities in India. A complex web of territorial, political, and ethnic tensions. The National Socialist Council of Nagaland, Isak-Muivah, NSCN-IM, is one of the most prominent insurgent organizations in the northeastern region of India. The NSCN-IM is primarily concerned with the creation of a separate Naga homeland called Nagalim, which encompasses parts of Nagaland, Manipur, Assam, and Arunachal Pradesh. However, this demand has led to significant opposition from various ethnic groups in the region, such as the Meitei, Kuki, Assamese, and Arunachali people. Moreover, within the Naga community itself, factions like the Zaliangrong United Front, ZUF, and the United National Liberation Front, UNLF, have expressed divergent views on the matter, adding further complexity to the political landscape. This article delves into the ongoing issues surrounding NSCN-IM's demand for Nagalim, examining its relationships with other factions, its impacts on various communities, and the resistance it faces across northeast India. The article aims to provide a nuanced understanding of the challenges the region faces, rooted in history, politics, and ethnicity. NSCN-IM and the Nagalim demand. The NSCN-IM, founded in 1980, has been at the forefront of the Naga nationalist movement. Its core demand is the establishment of Nagalim, a separate political entity for the Naga people that would unify territories currently spread across Nagaland, Manipur, Assam, and Arunachal Pradesh. The group argues that the Naga people are ethnically distinct and have the right to self-determination. For decades, the NSCN-IM has been involved in armed conflict with the Indian state, pushing for greater autonomy, sovereignty, and the creation of Nagalim. However, the inclusion of parts of Assam, Manipur, and Arunachal Pradesh in the proposed Nagalim has raised alarms among other ethnic communities in these states. The opposition to the Nagalim demand is driven by a fear of territorial fragmentation and concerns about cultural and political marginalization. 1. The Meitei people of Manipur. The Meitei people, who constitute the dominant ethnic group in Manipur, have a complex relationship with the NSCN-IM's demand. The inclusion of parts of Manipur in Nagalim is viewed with deep apprehension by the Meitei community, as they fear the annexation of their land would erode their political and cultural autonomy. The Meitei people, who historically control the Imphal Valley, have been resistant to the idea of Naga sovereignty in Manipur. For many, the proposed Nagalim undermines the territorial integrity of their state. Violent clashes between the Meitei forces and NSCN-IM insurgents have occurred in the past. Further deepening the distrust between these two groups, Meitei leaders argue that the Nagalim demand is a direct threat to the identity and political rights of the Meitei people. The Kuki people, who predominantly live in the hilly regions of Manipur, have a similarly strained relationship with the NSCN-IM. The NSCN-IM's claims over areas in Manipur, particularly those occupied by Kuki communities, have led to significant ethnic tensions. The Kuki community, including subgroups such as the Thadu, Zu, and Kuki, has vehemently opposed the idea of Nagalim, fearing displacement and the loss of their political rights. Historically, the Kuki and Naga communities have been at odds over territorial control in Manipur. The formation of armed groups like the Kuki National Army, KNA, and the Kuki Army, KA, has been a response to the growing influence of Naga insurgent groups in the region. The Kuki community's resistance to the NSCN-IM's territorial claims has led to bloody ethnic conflicts in the past. The Assamese people. The Assamese people, who primarily live in the state of Assam, are also impacted by the NSCN-IM's demand for Nagalim. Areas in Assam, particularly in districts like Karbi Anglong and Dima Hasao, have significant Naga populations. The NSCN-IM claims these territories as part of Nagalim, which has been strongly opposed by the Assamese community. Assamese leaders view the demand for Nagalim as an attempt to fragment Assam and create an ethnic-based political entity. The Assamese fear that granting the Naga people autonomy in these areas will lead to further demands for the separation of other ethnic groups, destabilizing the state. The relationship between the NSCN-IM and Assamese political groups has thus been marked by distrust and opposition. The Arunachali people. The Arunachali people, who belong to various indigenous ethnic groups, are another community that strongly opposes the Nagalim demand. Arunachal Pradesh, which shares a border with Nagaland, has a significant Naga population in districts like Longding, Tirap, and Changlang.
The NSCN-IM's demand for Nagalim includes these areas, which has led to considerable opposition from other communities, such as the Apatani, Nishi, and Adi tribes. For the people of Arunachal Pradesh, the concept of Nagalim is a direct threat to their territorial integrity and cultural identity. They argue that granting Naga territorial claims over their lands would lead to the erosion of their rights and marginalize their communities. The Arunachali people have, therefore, been actively resisting the inclusion of their territory in the proposed Nagalim. 5. Internal Naga factions and political fragmentation. Within the Naga community itself, there is significant internal fragmentation. Not all Naga groups support the NSCN-IM's leadership or its demand for Nagalim. One notable faction is the Zeliangrong United Front, ZUF, which represents the Zeliangrong tribe, a subgroup within the Naga community. The ZUF is critical of the NSCN-IM's centralizing agenda and believes that the group's vision of Nagalim does not adequately represent all Naga subgroups, especially the Zeliangrong people. Similarly, the United National Liberation Front, UNLF, of Manipur, which is primarily focused on the secession of Manipur from India, has been at odds with the NSCN-IM. The UNLF and other Manipuri insurgent groups, including the Kuki National Army, KNA, argue that the territorial claims of the NSCN-IM over Manipur are a threat to their own political objectives. These internal divisions further complicate the prospects for a unified Naga political solution, making it difficult to find common ground among various factions. 6. Impact on the broader political landscape of Northeast India. The demand for Nagalim and the resistance it has generated from various ethnic groups in the region have far-reaching implications for the political and social dynamics of Northeast India. The growing ethnic polarization between different communities. Conclusion. The demand for Nagalim has created deep divisions, not only among Naga factions, but also between various ethnic communities in Northeast India. The Meitei, Kuki, Assamese, and Arunachali peoples have all expressed vehement opposition to the proposed Nagalim, viewing it as a threat to their sovereignty and territorial integrity. The internal fragmentation within the Naga community, including factions like the ZUF and UNLF, further complicates the political landscape. The path to peace and resolution in the region requires a delicate balancing of the aspirations of various ethnic groups while safeguarding the integrity and stability of the Indian state. Disclaimer: Zalingam Media is not responsible for the content of this article, which has been sourced from various news outlets and is intended for educational and research purposes. The views and opinions expressed herein do not necessarily reflect those of Zalangam Media. Subscribe to Zalangam Media for more insightful articles and updates on important issues in Northeast India and beyond.